Okay, so first of all, I want to welcome you to my car. This is a Renault. It is a Clio is the make. I'm not sure of the year, but I'm currently sitting in the driver's seat, which as you can see is on the right side of the car. There are some things that happen when you first get to the car rental place, which is they do not tell you how to turn on your car. So thank goodness I have driven some newer vehicles. The key actually looks like this. So it's your standard new age key. And actually the ignition button is all the way over here. So as you can see, here is the start and stop. Then you can tell here our car is super dirty, but we have been using, I have been driving a stick shift, as you can see. You can also see down here is an eco button. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. And then these two buttons actually took us quite a while to find. They are the bottom one is the cruise control and the top one is the speed regulator. So you can set it to a certain speed and your car will not go over that speed no matter what. That took quite some time to figure out. And then up here you have your buttons for the cruise control. So I'm going to give it a shot and go ahead and take us on a little drive here. I'm going to go ahead and start the car. So I'm going to push in the clutch and the brake. Start the car. Alrighty, so let me get my seatbelt on here. Okay, so I'm back. I got my seatbelt on. I am getting ready to pull out of the parking lot of the place where my daughter is staying. And this is important because all of the videos that I saw before I came, all of the ones that I watched, nobody was ever like pulling in and out of parking lots. They were all driving either on what's considered the interstates here or, tiny roads. And I found that that's not the general driving here in Ireland. The general driving is more of about what I'm about to show you. So remember to stay to the left. So I am staying to the left as much as I can. There are many places like this. This is actually kind of a wide entrance and exit here to where my daughter is staying. Most of them are much thinner. So you can see the road here in front of me is super tiny. And there's a car passing by. I'm going to go ahead and turn left. This road is not a one-way road. This is a two-way road. And I am currently driving on the right. You can see there's a car coming because there's no other place to be. No other place to be on the road. So you just have to kind of do the best that you can and go around people. Now we have an interesting situation here. I have two cars just parked for absolutely no reason in the middle of the road. So you just have to do the best you can, go around them and keep on going. And remember to stay to the left. Right now I'm about to go over, as you can see, very bumpy, a very big speed bump, which was not marked hardly at all, which is a very interesting thing to see here. I'm going about 30 kilometers per hour. Randomly, here's another speed bump right in the middle of the road. So when you first start driving on these roads, take care to make sure that you are prepared for these speed bumps at any moment. After a while, you start to get used to, where they are and those sorts of things. So this road, actually, you can see the dotted white line in the middle, and white is the middle of Irish roads. Yellow, it would denote on the left or the right if there were any yellow on this road, which there's not. I'm currently passing a school zone, so that was what those flashing lights were for. Now, as far as this vehicle goes, the Renault Clio, I really like it. There are so many benefits to it. I'm getting ready to come up here to a stoplight, and looks like it might stay green. I'm not entirely sure. Yep, okay, it's gonna stay green for me. However, I'm on a hill, and the Renault Clio actually, when you are on a hill, it knows, like, it prevents you from rolling back when you push the clutch in and you're going into first gear. I'm so sorry this is so bumpy, but this is the only way that I can hold my phone and drive on the left side of the road and do all of the things, shift and do all of the things that I need to do. So I do apologize for that. Couple of things. The stoplights, they go from red, yellow. They do have red, yellow, and green. Can't probably see it yet, but there's one up here. And on the actual stoplight itself, when it turns yellow, the yellow light only stays yellow for about 2 seconds. And I have never seen anybody run a yellow light except for me. I have run several yellow lights. I've accidentally run a red light, which is super frowned upon, obviously. But it's just very strange. It's very different. There is absolutely no turning on any sort of red. None at all. Not right nor left. Nothing like that. You can see the beautiful scenery ahead of me. There are a couple of things that are super interesting. The stoplights are not overhead. I've been driving for 8 days now. I did pass by one light that was overhead. That's about it. The other thing is, when you are merging onto an M road, and you can watch all the videos and everybody can explain all of this, I'm not going to go over all of that again, but when you're driving on an M road, which is similar to our interstates, the only time, pretty much, I mean, every once in a while there will be a speed limit sign, but pretty much when you're merging, that's the only time that you're going to see a speed limit sign, period. So you need to pay attention to what the speed limit actually is, because although people do say that there's no speeding in Ireland, that's not true. I've noticed, though, the speeding isn't on the M roads or the N roads, which are the more interstate roads. It's more on roads like this, your normal driving. That's when they tend to go faster. So you do want to make sure that, you know, you're not driving too fast. I have seen very few police here. They're called Garda. And my daughter says that she thinks that there's more here than in the US, but my experience hasn't been so, and that's fine either way. But they're very well denoted. They have giant, like yellow and sometimes a little bit green and a little bit orange. My radio just keeps turning on randomly, so sorry about that if you heard that. Anyway, they have stripes on them, and it says Garda on it because it is in the Gaelic language, which the Irish people call Irish. And so anyway, I'm actually traveling, just taking you on a little tour. You can see here on the right and left sides of the road, it's going to say 80 kilometers per hour. That is the current speed limit. That's a little bit faster for this area, but I'll tell you what, we have been on some interesting roads, and I didn't do any videos on those because everybody takes videos on the interesting roads, but it is as hairy and scary and tricky as it seems. Motorcycles will come up on either side of you. They go between the traffic, and that's including the police, so it's not a thing that's illegal. One time I had a police officer passing me on the right and a non-police officer passing me on the left, right in the middle of downtown Dublin. So that was interesting. There are a lot of roundabouts. The roundabouts, pretty much, you know, what you find other places is pretty much true. The first and second exit on the roundabout, you're going to stay to the far outside lane. If you're going to the third or longer exit, then you're going to stay to the inside lane. So we're getting ready to do our first roundabout here, and I'm actually going to be going straight through the roundabout. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Again, I'm super sorry for the video quality, but I am alone in the car while my daughter is in class. So I'm actually going to be going straight. So I'm going to go on around, just like that. There we go. Go ahead and shift. And same thing with this one. I am going straight through as well. I have traveled this road probably about 20 times at this point, taking my daughter to and from class, which I have to do multiple times a day because she has class at varying times. Okay, so you can see here, this is actually a pretty standard stoplight here on the left. Sometimes there are lights connected to that light, and it's similar to the US where, you know, if there was an arrow, like a green arrow, which would be turning right here, not turning left, a green arrow turning right, then there would be a couple little lights connected to the right of that. And so that's how that would work. And so we're gonna go ahead now. The light is green. I'm gonna go ahead and go through here and just show you really quickly. Mind the baby that's being pushed out into the middle of the street. Oh, that's another thing. Vehicles and people and bicycles just nudge right out. See there, that car came. That car actually stopped really close. They just nudged their way right out into the street. And it terrified me at first. My daughter kept saying, that's just how it is. You're gonna have to get used to it. Well, eventually I figured out why. It's because you can't see. There's so many buildings and cars and people and all kinds of things that you can't see. So I'm actually going to, for the sake of me just rambling and talking, I'm going to pause the video for a minute, and I'll be back with you when I have something more interesting to show you. Okay, so we're coming up on our first right turn. We're going from a two-way street, turning right onto another two-way street, and you can see the car in front of me has inched up, and if the light turns yellow, he is allowed to go. So that's the same in the US. However, I am absolutely not allowed to go. And if that light were to turn yellow, before the guy in front of me could go, then I would have to absolutely stop. There's no other option. So the Irish are very nice to each other. They let people in. You can see that guy was let, somebody let him turn, which was super nice. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because this light is about 2 minutes. So I'm going to pause it and I'll be back with you again in a minute. All right, so I went ahead and made the turn. Way up ahead here, in the top of the screen is the ocean, which is absolutely beautiful. Then we have some more of these little speed bumps. They're a little bit different. We're in a different town now, and so they're a little bit longer here. And you can see there are no lines in the road. This is very, very, very common, having absolutely no lines. So you just kind of have to guess. Now we have a little bit of a dotted line. Straight ahead of me is a one-way street coming at me, so I have to turn onto this street, which I wanted to show you. This street right here is not a one-way street. This is a two-way street. So if a car is coming at you, somebody just has to be the nice guy and figure out where and when to pull over. I don't know if you can see in the middle of the street, it's a dotted line. Very, very faint, but it is a two-way street. So there are times where you just have to pull over, and somebody, like I said, somebody has to be the nice guy and be the one to pull over. So I'm turning onto a one-way street here. And we know that this is a one-way street partially because there are double yellow lines on both sides. This is not an alley. This is a street. Actually, a street. I'm very sorry again that it's so bumpy, but this is a street and I'm turning onto a one-way. I just want to show you one last thing and then I will be done explaining this to you. I'm going to turn to the right here. This is a one-way. And then the hotel where we were staying at that I just checked out of before dropping my daughter for class is right here. And I want to show you what it's like to pull in. Hopefully I can show you what it's like here. Do you see how close this is? Do you see how close it is? It's this close on this side and that close on this side. And this is where you park your car. And I wanted to show you because this is extremely common. So a couple last things. When you are renting a car or thinking of renting a car, there are some very important things to know. The first thing is when people tell you to rent the smallest car possible, actually, yes, rent the smallest car possible because you have to fit in super tight spaces everywhere you go. You have to be able to pass people. You have to be able to, just do all kinds of things. Be able to park in very weird situations. I'm going to go ahead and turn around because I have to go back and pick up my daughter. But I'm going to keep talking and let you see how it is on the way out. There are times when you have to back up. The very, 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 very most important thing to know about renting a car in Ireland is that you can rent a car in Ireland for as little as $1 a day. I was very excited and prideful about this with my family and friends before I came. However, when you get here, you absolutely 100% have to purchase their insurance, or they will put the entire price of the car on your credit card as a hold, and any little thing that's wrong with it when you bring it back, if you ding it or anything at all, you will be charged for. So this leaves about a $60 a day of US dollars, $60 a day fee. So my $1 a day car that was going to be a total of $210 because I bought the insurance on Travelocity, which by the way was absolutely useless. My $210 car quickly became a $764 car for the 12 days that I'm here. Now that's for a standard. You can rent an automatic for an additional $70 to $140 a day. Do not rent a stick shift if you are not extremely familiar with it, because there is absolutely no way that if I did not know how to drive a stick shift, I could have just popped in this car and done all of the things that I needed to do. So that is the end of my video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you have learned something from it, and you all have a great day. And I hope that this helps if you ever want to visit Ireland.